Hey everybody, this is another mumbly update on the status of Plague and Pestilence. I'm still using the Nook HD Plus, but I'm doing it through an HDMI adapter, so that you don't see my fat fingers. So there's the actual Nook, and that's my TV. There have been a handful of changes, but not a lot, because I'm kind of slow. I was distracted was working at Neversoft for a while, and ultimately opted to not work there anymore because they have some odd ideas about how QA is supposed to work that I disagreed with. Alright, so I'm going to go 6-player game. Loading animation changed a bit. As you can tell, I added that tree, but it's not a very good looking tree, obviously, because I'm not very good at drawing still. First thing you might notice is that there's a little bit more art in the cards, but this is all placeholder and it's mostly from, not open source, public domain image archives, which makes the art style really inconsistent, so I don't like that at all. Other thing, notice there are dice now. Where's my hand? Right there. Hooray! Dice! Those are visible. There's a slight clip off on the left hand side die that I need to fix. Also, the targeting buttons, as you can see, are totally different than they were, because now they're not actually, well, they're still set up as targeting buttons, but I don't plan on having them continue to be targeting buttons, because I have added drag and drop functionality. So rather than going, yeah, and that has to be fixed too. As you can see, it went from that sort of light gray to a dark gray, and that's going to be changed. But yeah, so rather than clicking on the target and that also a bug, what just happened. That's all going away. But yeah, as I thought that the clicking target, clicking card thing was kind of awkward and stupid, and it's not quite. I want to say it's skeuomorphic, but I don't think that's right word for it right now. So you press and hold the card, clicks up, you can drag it around. There's a discard pile over here, but it doesn't really work right just yet. And that's more because there's a really edge case where, like, if you've got two people and one guy's got all three of the improvement cards, and the other person only gets cards that are blocked by improvements or something else, and they have nothing to play, then previously the game would just stop dead right there because I had no way to handle that. So a discard pile is you'll be able to throw a card away and continue. But yeah, so you press and hold, and click and drag, and that goes there. All the other animations are still intact. The one problem with the click and drag functionality is that it has removed my ability to. I can't do the long press for the zoom anymore, and I want to do is like a swipe up on the card to do the same zoom animations that I had before, but I cannot figure out that API at all. And then the other thing that I tried to do was that when you're in the click and drag, the drag shadow, which is the thing that, bang. Yeah, the other thing is, obviously, cards that are in gray you can click and drag. Cards that go white after you roll die, or you can just click to play on yourself, like so, bing, or you can click and drag them. So, but yeah, the other idea was that the drag shadow, which is the thing that gets dragged around when you're doing click and drag, would be the bigger size. But because of the whole vector, like, picture drawable thing, I'm having a really hard time rescaling so I can set the draw shadow to be really big, but the picture stays the same size, and I haven't been able to figure out a way around that, which is really annoying. No, that's Famine on himself. But yeah, you can see it's like I've used for some of the placeholder images. I've pulled them straight out of the Hans Holbein Dance of Death engravings, which was what the original card game was heavily based on. but they're, for the most part, they're really noisy. They're also... It doesn't work. Oh, I just crashed it because I clicked on a button that doesn't have a function anymore. But yeah, the issue with them is that they're kind of noisy, so they're harder to tell what they look, what each card is supposed to be when it's zoomed out, and they're also really, really complex detailed. So the vector file that I get when I do the conversion has like 150,000 points in it. So on the slower device, like a color, it takes a really, really long time. Even with only a couple of them that I have, it can take like upwards of a minute, 2-3 minutes for it to process them all into the card images. So that's not going to be workable in the long term. And since there's a lot of stuff that's not, there are some cards that the effect doesn't really have a matching thing. So I had to go into the open source like stuff to try to find stuff. Like the death strip is, I mean, clearly that's kind of a, yeah, sorry about the, it's a little bit blurrier on the TV than it would be otherwise. But yeah, you can see the death ship is now, it's a ship, and it looks like a ship, but it does not stylistically match. I mean, you can sort of barely see Bumper Harvest and Fire there, and those are just kind of a mess. But yeah, and then there's the stuff that I drew originally, like the Viking Raid and the Pestilence and Tactical Advantage, which are still their things. And then, but yeah, and I kind of like what I did with Pied Piper, and this is from a different Dance of Death engraving set, or I don't know why I keep saying Dance of Death. It's the damn it, I'm blanking on the actual Latin name for it that is usually used. But yeah, but I mean, it obviously just art style is just totally inconsistent and wrong and just not usable that way. So other than that, everything's pretty much the same. I mean, it's still click, it goes through, war card plays, etc., etc. And so that's my update. That's what I've been doing for the past, on and off for the past few months, and hopefully we'll have more time to concentrate on it now that I'm back to being not employed. But I also have to do some other stuff to actually have income again. Thanks for watching. That's it.